pretty good year for anime thus far. There haven't been a lot of big stinkers, there's actually been a lot of stuff with smart writing, good characters, and a fun story across all the genres. So today I wanted to take a moment to speak about a series that, upon going into it, I had no expectation for. I didn't know what I would get getting into it, I had no previous knowledge of what this was or where it was coming from. I just went in hoping to find something I could like. And that series is Captor Sakura Clear Card. What? What did you think I was doing? Setting up like a false lead even though you already saw the title of the video and know what I'm talking about? Come on, do I seem like someone who would do a cheap joke like that? Anyways, so this series is a sequel to the original Cardcaptor Sakura from the 90s. A show that I, like a lot of kids, just remember as being part of the anime boom. Like, it just kind of got brought in to sort of capitalize on the success the medium was having. Now, don't get me wrong, Cardcaptors has a very loyal, strong following here in the West. But for most of us, it was just kind of there. We watched it because it looked like Pokemon, because we wanted to know more about anime, even though we didn't even really know what the word anime was yet. And for a lot of us, a lot of people were probably just attracted to Sakura because we're all freaks. Anyways, so going into this new series, I didn't have any attachment to it. I was just kind of curious. I wanted to see what they could do with a sequel from a property that long ago. I wanted to see if one of these anime nostalgia things could actually work. We've been getting a lot of these lately that just kind of build upon a brand, that sort of build up on nostalgia, and they've all sucked. I'm sorry, I know there's a ton of Dragon Ball Super fans of Sailor Moon Crystal. There's some people who like the Eva rebuild films, but I like none of those things. But I actually really like this, because this series kind of does what I've been wanting those other shows to do, and it actually takes the material, takes everything good about it, respects it, loves it, understands the feel, understands what people liked, and updates it. Makes it feel modern, makes it feel new and fresh, has the director do their own take while still being respectful to what made the franchise great in the first place. I never feel like that when I watched Sailor Moon Crystal, or when I attempted to get through Dragon Ball Super, or watching the Eva rebuild films. This series is very well directed, it is very well handled, you really get the sense the people who did this care about this franchise, but also understand what you have to do to make it work in today's context, and we're up to that challenge. Namely, with, first and foremost, the characters themselves. The character of Sakura is actually a really great character. I feel really bad I don't remember much more about this show as a kid, because she's actually a really good kid character. She's not like a Sailor Moon type where she's like some goofy, over-the-top idiot to be laughed at. She's not some sort of like shonen-y type action protagonist. She feels like a real kid. She can have moods where she can feel temperamental. She can feel timid, but she can also be happy and excitable and is affected by things. And you get to see all that play out. Where we meet up with Sakura in her life is she's starting middle school, which is weird because thanks to the animation redesign, she actually looks younger than she did in the 90s show. But whatever. She's starting middle school, and that's kind of all you need. She's got all these new things as she's starting to become a teenager. You've got her adapting to a new school. You've got her taking on new hobbies. You've got her making a new friend. You've got her relationship with Lee, who I remember being much more of a jerk in the original show, but I guess, he mellowed out, whatever. And they've got this kind of cute little relationship going, and what's great is you get to see it develop naturally. There's not some sort of big extreme thing. It's hinted that it's at, but we'll get to that later. There's not some sort of big overpowering menace going on with their relationship. He's not really doing anything super crazy. She doesn't have anything crazy going on. It's just kind of these two kids who have feelings for each other and are starting to learn what that means and developing them as they're changing, and everything feels new and everything feels exciting but a little nervous and a little intimidating, but they still want to go for it and sort of evolve as their lives change. And that's really good. You don't get a lot of these. In a lot of these kinds of shows, it's status quo, or you get something like Sailor Moon Crystal where everyone's bland and uninteresting. I really liked just watching these two develop, and I liked watching their relationship go. And I just kind of liked a lot of the slice of life in this stuff. There's a lot of scenes of Sakura and her friends eating lunch, and weirdly, there's a lot of fun there. You have these side characters. They don't do much. They don't get a lot of screen time, but god damn it if they're not a lot of fun. You have her best friend Tomoya, who's very funny, and if you've learned any more about this character and sort of the lore with her in the manga and her actual feelings for Sakura, it gets kind of sad. I won't go much more into that, though. You just have all this fun stuff that goes on in her life, and you do stay invested, and it's because she is so likable and the story is so funly handled. And then you get the element of, well, our actual plot. Oh, and Karo. I assumed Karo would be annoying, because I usually find these kinds of characters annoying. Karo is fucking awesome. He's the best. He's great. But then going on to our actual plot, you have that Sakura's book of magic cards has been taken, and now they're new magic cards, and she's got to hunt them down, and they're clear so they can sell merchandise of them. It's pretty standard, but a lot of these one-off adventures are actually a ton of fun. We get so many of these, there's got to be an overarching story. I miss just kind of a simple, here's the monster, we got to figure out how to catch it, and that's the end of it. But I like the way it's done in this. First up, a lot of them are played for laughs, and they're played for laughs in very fun ways. Special shout out goes to the episode where all the trees start moving. Sakura's reaction was fantastic. But no, I like sort of the way they're handled, because Sakura doesn't just have all these unbeatable powers. She doesn't just have some sort of thing she busts out. She has to always work her way through each problem. She tries several different options, and they usually fail, and you get to see her think of a new idea. How do I combine what worked? How do I combine what failed? All of that is on the screen for you, the viewer, to find out. Like, you're in Sakura's head with her as she works it all out in her mind. That's very well done, and it actually takes a lot of effort to do that effectively. But I never at any point felt like Sakura was overpowered. I never felt like she was an idiot trying to figure all this out. It always felt like she figured things out in a way that made sense and was intelligent. And that's really what I can say about this show. It is actually a pretty smart show, and it really cleverly handles these kids growing up and the crazy adventures they go on and all that stuff. One last positive. The animation, and the score is real nice too. Not the best I've ever heard. Kind of a little forgettable, but it always kept me in the mood. As for the animation, as I sort of touched on earlier, Sakura's been redesigned to look much younger, obviously fitting what an actual 12-year-old looks like. And even though I have this eternal love for 90s animation and that grittiness, and there is some good animation in the original Cardcaptor Sakura from what I looked up before this review, some real nice gothic imagery, not afraid to look dark and be atmospheric. I really like the animation of this new one. I don't know if I like it better, but again, I'm glad it's willing to be different and its own thing. It has this very warm feeling to it. The character designs, other than Sakura's, are not really changed much, but everyone has this very friendly, likable look to them, and the colors are nice, and there is some really gorgeous scenery at times. The CG that is used effectively. At a couple points it's a little too obvious, but I don't think it'll be a problem for most people. Now, as for problems, there are a couple. First and foremost, the villain is uninteresting. Not only that, the show has this really irritating cliffhanger ending, and I don't know if this thing's going to get a second season. I know it was popular. I don't know how much, though. We'll have to see where that goes in the next couple of months, but the cliffhanger ending is annoying. And the villain's motives, I'm trying to guess what they could be. Nothing I come up with seems particularly interesting, and who the villain is extremely obvious the minute they show up. You will figure it out in 5 seconds, no problem. The other big problem, well, there are two other big problems. Three. The second one is very minor depending on your tastes. They do that annoying thing where towards the end of the series, everyone's keeping a big secret from Sakura. I'm telling you all this because they do absolutely nothing with it, and it really is just kind of there, and it goes nowhere, and it's stupid. The other thing is, as the series goes, it becomes a little too reliant on callbacks to the original series, and I think they do a good job of making it actually tie into the actual plot towards the end, but it can still be really tough. Like I said, I don't remember when Lee changed from negative to positive. Again, if you haven't seen the original, that's no problem. But I do remember things from the original, namely that he was supposed to be a jerk. I don't know why the guy who in the original Sakura had a crush on, but now doesn't for obvious reasons. I don't know why he turns into an angel. There's this annoying exposition guy with glasses who pops up every few episodes. I don't remember what he's about. And those are the kind of things to where you do need to take a few minutes to get people up to speed. It's been like 20 years since this show came out. Like, you need to do some things. I don't want everything to be exposition. And again, like I said, I am glad the show wanted to do its own thing, but certain things do still need to be explained. But ultimately, they didn't bother me that much. The thing that is problematic is, as well as the show handles its two individual elements, namely the Monster of the Week and the Slice of Life, as well as those are handled, and as I was interested in both, they don't always meld well together in this. And I think it's because that sort of episodic type show, you don't see it as much anymore, at least in things that also want to have good character development and take time for the action to be thought out and also to show off beautiful scenery. Like, you don't see that much anymore. Even staples of this, like Yu-Gi-Oh! And to a certain extent even Pokemon, have kind of given up on sort of this episodic nature. I mean, Pokemon still does it a lot, but compared to the way it used to be structured, it's very different. Here, though, I never felt like... It felt like the two were struggling for screen time. You have episodes where Sakura and her slice of life is the focus, and then they tack on the battle at the end, which sucks because I liked seeing the battle. And then you have episodes where it's almost all the battle and the slice of life element is thrown off, and it sucks because I like the slice of life element. I don't know how you exactly balance these things out, but it does create a problem because, well, like I said, the villain never gets any time to have sense. And again, it's a cliffhanger. They want you to watch the next, but I don't know how you fix that next time anyways. Stuff with Lee, probably I wanted more time with. Stuff with Tomoya, I wanted more stuff with. There's a character from the original called Mei-Ling who shows up. I would have liked more stuff with her. I would have liked more time on some of the more quicker battles. There's all this stuff that this series I would have loved to have seen it do more with that unfortunately you just can't. But at the same time, I am glad what is there is still very good, and I really like the fact that the people who made this were ambitious. I like the fact that they wanted to try so much. I like the fact that they reached for the sun. The people who made this show really were trying. They really wanted to make something good. They wanted to make something creative. They wanted to make something people would really respond to, and I'm glad they did. I'm glad a lot of people liked this show. I mean, the ending pissed people off. And I really do hope it gets a second season, because I would watch it in a heartbeat. I know this is crazy to say, but congratulations, Magical Girl genre. You finally won me over. But what did you think? In the comment section below, give me your thoughts on Captor Sakura Clear Card. Do you have any experience with this franchise? Would you be interested in knowing more about it going forward? And what anime are you watching right now? It's June, so everything's going to be wrapping up soon, and I want to know what people want me to talk about. So as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and let's hope we get that season 2.